Hey guys, it's me, it's Queen Offset Haru, and I'm coming to you today with another exciting edition of Ask An Aquarius. So if you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Now, today I got some messages from Aquarius I want to work with, some Aquarius. Two different Aquariuses actually. The first one said to me that he's 14 years old. He watches my videos, and he considers himself to be one of the dark Aquarius because he gets into a lot of trouble. He makes trouble at school. You know, Aquarius, that's how we are. When we're young, we have a tendency to be very self-destructive. And he's in this phase and he gets into crap at school. He gets into stuff with his friends. And, you know, people are talking about him negatively and not liking him because of it. So he would like to change his own negative behavior. So he asked me, what could he do? Like, how do I change my behavior? Well, at 14 years old, I was just like you. I was cutting up. I was drinking. I was smoking. I was sneaking in the clubs. I was seducing older men, you know, guys in their 20s and 30s who had no idea how old I was most of the time. I was cutting a fool. I looked older for my age, so I was cutting a fool. You know, I was able to buy beer back then. I've been buying beer since I was 12. I always looked older than I am. So I was buying Ing Bing for all y'all old heads, Ing Bing, Red Bull, Blue Bull, Cisco. What was that other one we used to always drink? Mad Dog 2020. And I was 12, 13 years old, able to get away with doing these things. So I was always in some mischief. Also, on top of that, I thought I was Erica Kane. So any of you that know about the soap operas will know that Erica Kane, who my mother named me after, my real name is Erica, and my mother named me after Erica Kane. So Erica Kane to me became like a symbol, you know, like I had to be just like Erica, you know. And Erica was always in trouble. She was always lying and plotting and scheming. So I was basically living out my soap opera fantasies in my real life. So I know exactly what you're talking about. And as I got older and I got to be in my 20s and 30s, I just gradually, I would say by the time I was 27, I was veering away from being Erica Kane. So I was Erica Kane for quite some time. So I know exactly what you're talking about. And it was fun. I was having a good time. I thought it was fun. But I knew it wasn't right. I knew that. Not so much the drinking and the partying. I thought that part was fun. I knew the treachery was not cool. I knew that. The lying, the deception, the treachery, the games. I knew that part wasn't cool. And it took me a long time to turn things around. And this is the thing, Aquarius. Many of us are like this. Many of us are like this when we're young. Many of us are self-destructive or treacherous in some kind of way when we're young. And the only thing that's going to take you away from that is one or two things. You're going to have to, one, make a decision that you are going to change and go about the business of changing. I use spirituality to change. Many Aquarius do. We find, you know, some kind of spiritual system. At your age, I was still searching for which one I wanted. I didn't figure that out till I was 21. So one thing that could help you is going on a spiritual journey, starting a spiritual journey, starting to go to different spiritual places, finding out where your spiritual self is, finding out what your beliefs about spirituality are. You're 14 years old. There's a lot out there that you don't know about. So learning about spirituality, compassion, those kind of things will change your life. And you can do this because you make a decision like, okay, I want to change. Let me see what's out here. Or you can keep on messing up. And I'm telling you what's going to happen. You're going to keep messing up. And one day you're going to wake up and you're going to be 30 or damn near 30. And you're going to be very unhappy with your life. You're going to look around and you may have had some accomplishments. Maybe you may have had some success educationally or money-wise even, but you're going to find that you're unfulfilled because your interpersonal relationships have suffered from your behavior. That's what's going to happen. And we don't realize that till we're older. So if you wait, that's what's going to happen, and it's going to smack you in the face. So you got two choices. You can do it yourself now because you already know it's an issue. So you can take the initiative and work on it yourself now. Or you can just hang in there and let life smack you around until you finally get it. I don't recommend the latter. I recommend that you just use your own common sense and say, okay, I want to change. Let me start to go on this spiritual journey. Let me start to read things about compassion. Let me start to get books. Let me start to go to workshops. Let me start to do things that'll make me a better person. Let me start to do volunteer work. Volunteer work makes you a better person. I was a member of the Youth Build program, and I did a lot of volunteer work, a lot of community service. All of these kind of things shape you into a better person. So if you want to do that, that would be a good part of your journey. I don't recommend initiating into any spiritual system, just learning about them. Going to the mosque with your friends, going to church, going to, see a Wicca ceremony. Go to different positive things. Do positive things in your life. Sign up for community service projects. Do stuff like that. Being around people who are less fortunate has a way of changing your spirit. You have to do things like that to open yourself up. Otherwise, if you're like me and you're hard-headed, because people kept telling me to change. People that cared about me told me to change. People that cared about me told me that what I was doing was not cool. Even my best friend, she was the one that gave me the first book by Elanya wasnt, The Value in the Valley. I'll put a link to it down here. That was my first spiritual book, and it's for women. And I know there's one for men too. I'm gonna put a link to one for women and one for men so you guys can check it out. But that was the beginning of my spiritual journey. My friend I think I was older by the time she gave me that book. I was like in my 20s. And when I first got the book, I was like, oh, this is heavy. This is deep. I can't read this. This is too much for me. I looked at that book and it was talking about transformation and changing yourself. And I was like, whoa, So she gave me the book and I didn't read it, but I kept it because something in me was like, that's where you need to go with this. And I kept that book, and a year later, I started to read it. I was ready by then. I had figured out that it was time. And I started to read it, and I had already started my spiritual journey at 13. At 13, I started learning about spiritual systems. I got this book from her. I was like 21. So I had already started, but I wasn't really doing well with it. As you can imagine, I was just learning something here and there. I wasn't committed to it. At 21, when I got that book, I committed to it. I committed to getting better. And I kept working on it, kept working on it. And I would slip here and there. I would do some treachery here and there. I would do something I ain't had no business here and there. And then I met Voldemort. And he tore me a new asshole. And I decided that I was not getting toward another one no more. I decided that whatever I did to create that shit was not going to happen again. And I changed. I seriously went into priestess training with vigor, and promised Goddess I would not do nothing else. And I didn't. I made that promise and I stuck to that. If it even smelt like treachery, I didn't get involved. So that was my journey. So in your case, you can either wait until you get your asshole chewed out, or you can say right now, I'm going to start the process of changing. All it is a decision not to get in trouble no more. It's just a decision. Write down all the things you do that you don't like, all the things that make you dark, all the things that are negative. In my case, it was stealing people's man, messing with somebody's mama, whatever. I was whatever treachery, lying about things, all kinds of things, making stuff up. I did all kinds of stuff. So make a list of your own personal treachery and make a commitment to stop. Even write a letter to God and say, God, these are the things that I do, and I promise you I'm going to change. And then go about the business of keeping that promise. It's all about you. It's all about you being self-disciplined enough to say, it's enough. I don't want to be like this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. Because even if you don't do it, life is going to push you in that direction. The universe wants us to be good. The universe wants us to be happy. And being treacherous will never make you happy, ever. It just leads to more treachery and more stuff and more negativity and more gossip and more people not liking you. It just leads to more and more of that. And the universe keeps trying to help you. They're going to keep on pushing you in a situation so you can see yourself, so you can get a mirror of what you really look like, of what you're doing. And they're going to keep pushing you. They'll push you towards soulmates that are going to put you through drama. They're going to push you into situations that are negative. And they're going to keep pushing you for you to wake up and say, you know what? This is not what I want. I want to be happy. I want to be fulfilled. And I want a better life. The universe is going to keep pushing you. So you can decide yourself right now, I'm going to do this. Or you can be hard-headed like I was and not do it and keep getting your ass kicked. You know, keep getting your ass kicked until you be like, you know what? I'm not going to do this no more. So you have those two choices. You can either do it on your own or you can do it as a result of pain. Because that's what happened with me. I was so hard-headed and I thought I knew everything. I didn't think it was anything wrong with treachery. I can do whatever I want to do, you know? And when I did figure out the treachery was wrong, I would still slip sometimes because it was so much temptation. And I would keep on slipping and doing something like here and there. And finally, that last slip was Voldemort. That last situation, that was more of my treachery. You know, getting with Voldemort was treachery. You know, like I said before, Voldemort and I were both in relationships with other people. We were creeping. So I was already this heavy lack of integrity. I should have just left the woman alone that I was messing with and not mess with him when he was with somebody. So that was another one of my slips, but that was my last one because that one really messed me up, seriously. But I was happy, right now, I'm happy about that slip because if I hadn't have made that slip, I wouldn't have gotten hurt bad enough yet to really commit to changing. See, that's the thing about a dark or a gray Aquarius. You have to commit to changing. And nobody can do it for you but you. You are the only one that can do it. Anybody else telling you to do it, encouraging you to do it, you're going to tell them to mind their business. But in this case, your Aquarius, you can't make Aquarius do anything. Aquarius has to decide that they want to do something because it's best for them. So you have to either make that decision on your own or let life beat you up until you make the decision. Either way, you have to make the decision. It's up to you how and under what circumstances. Okay? Now, I know that you get into treachery, you do things. Sometimes it might even be some fun things, little mischievous things you might do. I was so mischievous. And some of the times I still am. But now when I'm mischievous, I make sure I don't hurt nobody. You know, I might just say some mischievous stuff or just play with somebody or something. But I'm always upfront about it. And we all laugh and we all joke and it's cool. But back then it wasn't like that. Back then I was always up to something. Always up to something. And it doesn't pay. It doesn't really pay. Another thing you want to do is you want to look at what's going on inside of you. What is your emotional state? What does your emotional health state look like? Because if your emotional health state has any traumas in it, you need to heal those. So part of your spirituality, part of your training should be looking at what needs to be healed in yourself. And if there's anything inside, I'm going to put a third book. There's something, Louise L. Hay, it's called You Can Heal Your Life. That's the third book I'm going to put under here. So that book will help you. If you have any kind of traumas going on, if you have anything from childhood, any anger, any hurt, any frustration, you want to address that too. Because as a young Aquarius, that's something that will drive you towards self-destructing. That'll drive you towards treachery because the hurt that's inside of you causes you to lash out and not care about other people. It causes you to be cold and callous and detached. When an Aquarius is hurting, when you're wounded, that's when you're more likely to be treacherous. So the other thing you want to do is look at your emotional state. Look at what's going on inside of you. And some of the times we're not really sure as Aquarius what is going on inside of us until we sit down with a piece of paper and a pen and say, hey, what's going on with me? And journal it out. Start writing. Get a journal. Write it out. What is going on inside of me that I need to be treacherous? Do I need attention? Am I wounded from childhood? What is going on? And start to deal with it. Start to look at it head on and deal with it. A lot of times Aquarius are afraid of doing that. Don't be afraid. It's going to make you a better person. Okay? So you're 14 years old. You're young. You're bound to make some mistakes. All I'm expecting you to do is the best you can. Okay? Do your best. And as you mature and as you grow, all the stuff I'm talking about is going to make perfect sense to you as you get older. But it's up to you how and when you get these lessons. You don't have to wait until you're older to get these lessons. You can get this lesson right now. You can get the lesson of compassion and healing today. You don't have to wait until you're face down in the mud like I did. Okay? I hope that helps you. Let me know if you have any more questions. See you later.